You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
What Todd Blanche's new Senate deal isn't telling you, based on an article by Terry H. Schwadron. Trump's Justice Department is not broken. It is working as designed. A deal masquerading as independence. Todd Blanche and Donald Trump have produced another little document meant to look like restraint, a formal order dropping the so-called anti-weaponization fund, plus a narrower tweak to the tax audit immunity buried in the larger settlement. The source story is about the Senate votes Blanche needs, but the real story is the government being used to launder Trump's political debts, shield his finances, and keep his allies paid. Who holds power? The power is not with the senators pretending to supervise this mess. It is with Trump, who can threaten to keep Blanche in an acting role, and with Blanche, who is already running justice as an extension of Trump's personal and political interests. Cornyn and Tillis are not checking that power, they are negotiating over how much of it they can tolerate in public before giving Blanche the confirmation they want. That is the actual institutional arrangement here. The executive branch is being privatized, and the Senate Republican majority is acting as the notary. The cover story. The framing in the source is accurate on one point: this was a stunt. The supposed rollback of the payout fund does not answer the central problem, which is that the same settlement still offers Trump extraordinary protection and still leaves open other ways to compensate his allies. A paper change to one line item does not sanitize a machine built to reward loyalty, punish enemies, and convert public authority into personal insurance. Cornyn's own logic exposes the fraud. If the deal is just a contract waiting to be invalidated in court, then it is not proof of independence. It is proof that Blanche is willing to sign an unstable bargain and sell it as principled constraint. The pattern beneath the payouts. The settlement logic is not isolated. The source ties Blanche to payouts for Michael Flynn, Ashley Babbitt's family, and Mark Houck, each one turning taxpayer money into compensation for figures wrapped in grievance politics, anti-democratic violence, or right-wing martyrdom. Trump's pardons and commutations wiped away nearly $2 billion in penalties for white-collar criminals and corporate fraudsters. That is not inconsistency. It is the operating system. The pattern is simple: weaponize the state against democratic accountability, then relabel the damage as correction. Prosecutions become revenge. Settlements become restitution. Corruption becomes vindication. The people who breached the Capitol, lied to Congress, or profited through fraud are treated as victims. The public is expected to absorb the bill. Justice hollowed out. Blanche's record, as described in the source, is not a series of administrative missteps. It is a deliberate remodeling of the Justice Department. Antitrust, civil rights, counterintelligence, and fraud enforcement have been hollowed out. Immigration enforcement has been fused with mass deportation. Protesters are targeted. Trump opponents get flimsy cases. Career prosecutors are pushed out. Federal judges are antagonized. White-collar crime and civil rights enforcement are shoved aside. That is how authoritarian governance advances in an institutional shell. It does not need to announce dictatorship. It only needs a top law enforcement officer willing to treat the department as a political instrument and a Senate willing to call that independence because the paperwork was revised. The real question. The question is not whether Blanche has made one settlement narrower than before. The question is why anyone should trust a Justice Department run by someone who has already shown he will bend the department toward Trump's revenge campaign and then ask for confirmation as if that were evidence of merit. The source is right to call this out as nonsense. But the larger truth is harsher. This is not a rogue episode inside a healthy system. It is the system showing its preferred form, where legal process is bent toward loyalty. Public money is used to reward political faction, and Republican gatekeepers help make the whole thing look lawful. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternet for today's article. With the automated voice of Sam, thanks for listening.